S.C.A.M Artist TV. I'm your host, Paulthewysguy. I'm joined by my fellow colleague, Stardager. How you doing, bro?
How you doing, people? Same game, same game. You know, he on Twitter at Stardager, S.C.A.M all day.
And also, you can follow me on Twitter at Paulthewysguy. So we're back again for a second video. Today we're going to be discussing a few different things. We are down a person, as you see, due to the Thanksgiving holidays. You know, everybody has to go visit family and see people, and it's an important time, so we understand that. But here we are again. Today we're going to be discussing Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. We kind of left off on it last week where we were talking about some potential things to discuss and things that we have been talking amongst ourselves about. So that's definitely one of the shows that has had major exposure this year, and with all due reason, because it had the biggest commercial budget of all time with the blockbuster movie The Avengers. So it was basically poised for success. So now our job is to discuss whether it has been succeeding or has it been failing. So then we'll discuss our get out of jail free card topic, which is changing sexual orientation amongst superheroes. So then the last thing we'll do is get into our AMP list, which is our anime manga pool list, where we discuss recommendations for anime, manga, superheroes, comic books, you know, video games, TV shows, things of that nature, and we'll give you guys a recommendation. So without further ado, let's go ahead and discuss our review topic, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Thomas, what are your thoughts on it? I'll let you go first, and then I'll go ahead and give my thoughts on it.
All right. Manga had a lackluster beginning, lackluster presentation. I feel as though that because it's a Marvel entity and it has so much backstory that it shouldn't have struggled to get off the ground the way that it did. Now, I stopped watching after like 3 or 4 episodes, so I can't necessarily say if it's better or not right now. But based on my experience from those episodes, I'll get into what I believe is lackluster performance by Disney, Marvel, the network, the writers, all of it. First off, like I said before, it's too much content already available for them to be stumbling through and trying to decide how to present this to an audience. Mm-hmm. They came off of Avengers, which was a summer blockbuster, and then you come into the show and it's dry. You know, it's like walking through the Sahara Desert and you got a soda. It's going to quench your thirst. It's going to quench your thirst, but you're going to be thirsty in 3 seconds. 3 seconds later, you're going to be thirsty. You know? Right. Like, they really, like, tried to sucker people in. I really think they tried to sucker people in. It's like, oh, we're just going to throw this on a time slot, and because the Avengers was such a success, and hey, look, it's Agent Coulson. They know that guy. Come and watch it, you know? And didn't do anything else with it. Didn't try to make anything else with it. You know? You already... You have a couple, the acting, I mean, it's television, you know, so I'm not even going to go into the acting. Television acting is television acting. You know, like, it's hit or miss, and usually it takes a while for the actors on the television show to, like, really get into the groove of the television show and really present something good. I mean, so that's neither here nor there. But, it was more or less a move to get, like, in my opinion, it was more of a let's get advertiser money than let's like really make a show for the fans of Marvel, Avenger, mutants, and it's just comic books in general. I don't feel like it's catering to the audience properly. Overall, if I was to give it a rating based on what I've already seen, I would give it like a 2.5 out of 5. You know. It's smelling out the corner. It's hot garbage.
Okay. All right. Let me touch on it. So I agree with you about a good number of things. One, this is a a show that shouldn't have had to struggle. That's a key point because, like I said before, I already mentioned that they had the biggest blockbuster. The Avengers is the highest grossing movie of all time at this point, to my knowledge. Yeah. And for you to have the highest grossing film or $1 billion film at your disposal as advertisement for your TV show, it really kind of makes it unexcusable that you can't execute a show properly. Especially, it's not like we have people who haven't done shows before. Like the writer for this TV show has done Buffy the Vampire Slayer, has done Angel, has done Dollhouse, has done, plenty of shows already underneath his belt, so that, doing this type of show shouldn't require much effort. My biggest issue with the show is the actors that they selected. I didn't feel like it had to be big names. I actually liked it better when the names aren't so prevalent. I mean, they already had Agent Coulson, and that's who I was really excited to see anyway, because I really liked his character from the movies. So, excuse me. But the actors that you build around Coulson really have to deliver something special too. And the character that they chose to give us as the entry point into this world of theirs was a girl named Scott. And her character, I find her to be the least likable of the characters on the show. And she's supposed to be our entry point, and I don't relate much to her. So, and I think that it's just the overall delivery of these characters. They try to give you the nerdy characters. They try to give you the techie character, the strong arm, the Mr. and Mrs. Fix-Its of the groups, and with all this snark from Coulson too, and which that was my other issue, is that Coulson kind of at one point was starting to fall into this category of just a one-liner guy. And that's not what I wanted from Coulson. I wanted Coulson to be doing cool things. I wanted Coulson to be a cool person, and he wasn't translating that way at first. So,
to be a full character.
Right. Like, I want him to be, layered, and I wasn't experiencing that. I felt like they put so much time into building a team that other shows were doing that same concept, but doing it so much better than this show was executed. So, if you've ever watched Heroes or any other superhero-based TV show, even No Ordinary Family, and that was only on for a season, but like shows like that actually executed the bring a team together concept together so much better. So, and so that was a little bit disappointing. So all in all, I really thought that it was worth dropping. I continue with it out of pure loyalty. I promise you, there was no reason for me to stay watching this show. But having said that, what I dislike, I got to tell you that the last 4 episodes have been really, really good. So they've sort of turned around the show a little bit, in my opinion. And the reason why is because I really felt like they gotten over the hurdles that they had to overcome before, the obstacles that they were having with the show. The characters not gelling well together, the characters not fitting together. Those things, they have overcome those now. I mean, well, with good writing, they should by this point. It's like 6 or 7 episodes in when they finally started getting it together.
I think it's 8 in.
I want to say we're on episode 8 or 9, and now they're doing some really cool things. And I feel like the stories they've been telling now actually mean more. I will say that the Thor episode, because they had a tie-in episode with the Thor Dark World movie, and and it actually kind of worked out in their favor, in my opinion. And thus far, I'm going to give them some credit now. Thus far, they have been doing the show entirely without any Avenger cameos, with the exception of Nick Fury. They had one Nick Fury cameo. But with the exception of that, they have not had any Avenger cameos, and they've gotten this far. So I think that's pretty good. Also, I think they have to do that because if this show becomes an Avenger cameo show, they won't succeed at all. So they basically have to be able to, succeed without cameos. Right. So, in my opinion, they have to succeed without.
No. Well, so the one thing you mentioned Fury, and yeah, you have, Nick is S.H.I.E.L.D. Like not seeing Nick Fury, or like I think he maybe shouldn't be on every episode, but I think Nick Fury be on. If it's 12 episodes, he should be on at least 5. Because Nick is S.H.I.E.L.D. Like if you read any comic books, Spider-Man, Avengers, any of them, the main representation for S.H.I.E.L.D. is Nick Fury. To like eliminate is kind of a bit much.
I agree with that. I feel like they've touched on some things and they have kind of like, it's almost like been forgotten. Like the very first episode, they showed more of S.H.I.E.L.D. than they really have throughout the entirety of this show. It's really been focusing on the team and the team building exercises that they've been doing, and even the time they did show Nick Fury, it was just like a little funny cameo. It wasn't really anything necessary. Like, he hasn't done anything integral to this storyline yet. And you're right, as a leader, he should be there making some calls like, oh, these are the missions. Even if he was Charlie of Charlie's Angels, so to speak, where he was just assigned.
Exactly.
That would go to, show more of what's going on with S.H.I.E.L.D., but they have all these other characters going on. Like, they have Agent Evans, and, they really only showed her on the first episode. And there's obviously this little backstory going on about how Coulson has survived this, this issue that he's going through with being killed by Loki. And they're dangling that in front of us, and like you're wondering, like, all right, when is the second shoe going to drop, so to speak? One of the cool things is, and this is a spoiler, the character, the Luke Cage-esque character that they showed in the first episode is going to be coming back in the latest episode and joining the team as a member. So whether or not that's going to succeed or pan out for them, but it does excite me because it actually gives them a super powered individual on their team. So I'm kind of interested to see how that actually develops the show, because it gives them an Avenger-esque power, but it doesn't give them an Avenger. And it's interesting because this character is still pretty new. Like, basically, the TV show created this character. So this is not a canon comic book character. So it's kind of interesting to see this character in this universe. So the best episodes to me have been the episodes where they actually dealt with meta individuals and or meta-powered humans or whatever. And we've seen a lot more of that in the most recent episode. So recent episodes, rather. So all in all, I don't think that Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is a spectacular show. I don't think it's a good show, to be fair. I think it's getting better. But luckily for them, they have been picked up for a second season. So yes, they only have more time to improve as a TV show. So I'm hoping that what I've been seeing in the last 4 episodes continues as a pattern, because that's a more likable show for me. Now, whether they continue down this road, their track record is not necessarily a good one. So I know you're not looking forward to hearing about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. being on for another season. So
look, bro, it's like this. It's so many shows that get canceled, and the first season, and for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. to be like actually getting a second season, it is bizarre to me. Like, for example, No Ordinary Family. people that show that does not have a season.
I love that show. I don't know why No Ordinary Family did not get a second season. It just doesn't make sense to me. Like, even, alright, so we know that Fantastic Four, the movies, have been horrible. But that show was Fantastic Four on a TV show, and it was just better than what the movies offered. And it was a likable show. The characters were cool. I really love the son of the show. Like his little mathematic ability, or his little genius, like work that you've never seen before. And it was a cool way because
it was done.
It was nice, wasn't it? Like that ability was nice. Like the way he was able to do things was just cool. So I really love that show, and it's just one of those shows that it exceeded what my expectations were for a TV show of that nature. And Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is under
What's cool?
It's 4. So let's just jump into our next topic. The get out of jail free card topic for today is the changing of sexual orientations for superheroes. So let's talk about how we feel about it. And what I mean about changing sexual orientation, I'm referring to superheroes who start off as either a male or female, and then later the characters who take up the mantle are female or male, the vice versa of that. A good example of that would be Quasar as a character. Quasar started off as a male, and then the new Quasar is a female. So, Thomas, what are your thoughts on changing sexual orientation for superheroes?
I don't really understand it. I don't get it. Like, I feel like if you got a franchise, and it's already established, what's the point of altering that franchise by changing what's under the mask? I mean, we can make a new character every day. Like, people draw and people can make a new character every day. So, to like put a girl behind the mask when it's not really necessary is sort of bizarre to me. I mean, I'm not like all ultra masculine or anything like that. Nah, it's like if Spider-Man was a girl tomorrow. Like, why? What is the reasoning behind it? That's what I really don't understand. I understand the reasoning behind it. It just seems a little illogical to me. Like, I grow up with Quasar my whole entire life and it's a dude, and then I go to the newsstand and pick up the new Quasar and he's a girl. Well, I'm not going to buy it because a girl in that role is not believable. Now, this might be a little tangent, but I was watching a review of this video game that's called Remember Me, and it's supposed to be, from the review, it looked really cool or whatever. But they said that the problem with the game would be is that the leading character is a female, and men wouldn't buy it because they didn't want to play a leading female. So I feel like that's the same thing for comic books. Like, men go to the comic book stand to pick up a comic book, and this guy that they may envision themselves being, because everybody want to be a superhero, and people pick out the ones that resonate with them the best. And so you go and you pick up this issue, and it's no longer that guy that you resonate. It's some girl. And it's weird.
All right, well, let me jump in for a second, and before I give my opinion on the matter, let me play devil's advocate and say this. What about, like, how throughout the history of comics, superheroes, females have donned similar costumes and taken up the names as their male counterparts. For instance, She-Hulk, Spider-Woman, Batwoman, we just talked about her last week.
Which is
and Batgirl, for that matter.
Which is creating a different character. It's not like the She-Hulk is becoming the Hulk.
Right. I get what you're saying. So,
or that.
I'm saying that what your statement earlier was about, guys wanting to go to the newsstand, pick up a comic book for a character that they could potentially see themselves becoming. You know what I'm saying? Using our imaginations, we could picture ourselves becoming this hero, and we couldn't do that if it was a girl. But arguably, in many facets of like gaming, comics, anime, female characters have taken on a more predominant role in the genre. So my thought is that men aren't so close-minded to the female characters having those positions any longer. For instance, in MMOs, and maybe this isn't an MMO, so correct me if I'm wrong, Diablo 3. I know that all my male friends, their primary characters are typically female characters. And I was asking them, why do you guys always pick a girl, as your character? And they're just like, I don't know, there's something cool about having a girl and being a badass with the girl and stuff like that. So they get a kick out of that. And a lot of writers have really taken a liking to writing strong female characters because it's less prevalent in the comic, world. So that's one thing. So don't you think that there's actually people who want to see more females be injected into our world?
I think they are trying to reach out to an audience. I definitely think that.
So do you think this is?
I definitely think it's more of a demographic thing because there are women that read comic books. There are women that watch anime. But if you want to do scale-wise, it's definitely more men that do it. And they're trying to, broaden their horizons and try to get into different wallets. But, when I play MMOs or I play games like Diablo or whatever, I play male and female characters. Some games I might play exclusively female characters, but that's, to me, is mostly based on character presentation. Some male characters just look stupid. they don't look good. And it seems like they put more work into the female characters. It just does. So I end up playing a female character on some games. But, I'm not saying that people don't want to see a female character. People don't want to see female heroes. That's not what I mean. So I don't want to come off as sexist, so that's not what I mean. But
I'm not trying to paint you in that corner. I was playing devil's advocate because I want.
No. I'm playing in your hand right now, So, I want, if you make, like you said at the beginning of your statement, you have a She-Hulk, you have a Batwoman, and you have a Supergirl and all of that, And I feel like that was the lane that was supposed to be created. You know what I'm saying? That's how you get that different demographic. Now, if you take all of the dude characters, all of the male characters, and you put a female character in their place, what are you doing to the universe necessarily? You know what I mean? You're taking iconic characters and changing them into something different. That's my only issue. It's you could, instead of having her be Quasar, you could have made her, a different version of the same character, which we have been doing for years and years and years and years and years. Keep Quasar around, just give him a female alternate,
Yeah, I know what you're saying. More like the Captain Marvel, Miss Marvel type of thing, Superman, Supergirl, they do it all the time. But I guess so let me give you my opinion on it. I feel like it's done not so frequently. I think it's very infrequent that we see female characters actually just take over the mantle, like the Quasar situation. And I think it's more common that we see females take on the name of an existing comic character, and then they also have the name, so a la Spider-Woman or something like that. But I don't have a problem when they do it, because sometimes with these comic book characters especially that have existed for so long, like, how many stories can you tell with that one individual? Like, with Quasar. Like, I mean, now, it does point out to lazy writing if a writer can't continue to come up with interesting stories for that character. Maybe that character doesn't need to exist anymore. Or maybe that character needs to be shelved and brought out when somebody does have a good story for that writer. But I do see an argument for, you know, making that character a female. That gives you all new stories to tell. And from my opinion, because it's done so infrequently, it doesn't really bother me when they do that every now and then. Now, if they've ever taken a character that I just completely love and did that with, I might be standing on the other side of the fence of this argument. But like me personally, I don't ever recall there being a character where I was just like, really? You turn them into a female? Like the question is another one of those characters that has historically been a male, but now is a female character, you know, so there's just so many of these type of characters that exist now, and it doesn't really bother me. Like, if it was just like something major where they took Peter Parker and said, you know what, we're getting rid of Peter Parker and we're just going to have Mary Jane be Spider-Man from now on, that would be a huge difference for me. You know what I'm saying? Like, that would be something where I would be like, I don't think I can get on board with this. So, to that extent,
but I feel like,
you feel like what?
I feel like it's like a tester. You know, let's grab Quasar. You know, he's not all that important in the universe. I mean, he has some roles, but how big is his fan base? You know what I mean? Let's put the mask on him and try something out with him. And then next, let's take somebody that's a little bit bigger than Quasar and try the same thing with them. I mean, where does the line get drawn? You know, like when it comes to be Peter Parker?
Right.
Is that when the line's drawn? I don't, like I said, I think, and I agree with you, you know what I mean? It gives an opportunity for a whole new set of stories. I totally agree with you on that. And you know what? I don't even think I'm anti it. I just don't understand it. I feel like you could just do the same thing. But I just don't understand it because I feel like you could do the same thing and just put a female version of that character in the same world. You know what I mean?
I agree with that.
Because like even with like Spider-Woman, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or Superwoman, or they are sort of the same character, but not the same. Like their powers usually are slightly different. You know, they usually have different strengths than their male counterparts. Right. You know, and I think that's cooler, you know what I mean? I think that brings a lot more to the table than just saying, actually, I think it's a little lazy to just take Quasar and change him into a woman, or take Spider-Man and change him into a woman. It's like, you just throwing some different makeup on them and just trying to write a different story. I mean, it's the same character, essentially. You just change the sexual orientation.
Right. Now, if they did something crazy like just take the male character and make that same person a female, that would be somewhat interesting because, like, now this person who was once a different orientation altogether has to adapt to this new orientation, like, now that makes the story kind of interesting. Like, what does this person do now?
Yeah. Exactly.
But you're right. I do feel like it's lazy, which is why I said that earlier, that if a person can't think, if the writers can't think of good stories to tell with this person, and they feel like, you know what, let me change the sex, and now I have all of these new stories to tell all of a sudden, it is a bit lazy. So I agree with you to that extent exactly. But I do see the reasoning behind why they do make those changes sometimes. And again, since they do it so infrequently, I'm less.
It's not that big of a deal.
Right. Now, like, again, if Mary Jane becomes Peter Parker, becomes Spider-Man, I'm changing my whole principle on the matter. But, okay, so then let's move on to our AMP list. So the AMP list is where we give you a new recommendation, and for something within the geeky spectrum and for you to look into and try out or find and read or watch or something or play. And I'll start off with you, Thomas. What do you recommend today?
All right, this is going to sound maybe a little ironic, seeing as though I was kind of dissing him a little earlier in the show. I love Josh Whedon, bro. I think he's super awesome. Yep. You know, I just think the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. it'll probably get better. I mean, Josh Whedon is excellent at what he does. So with that being said,
let me ask you a question while you just said that. Do you think that Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. felt very Joss Whedon to you?
Not at all. Right. Not at all.
Like, for this to be a Joss Whedon show, it definitely didn't feel to me like a Joss Whedon show. And like I said, I gave a whole list of shows that he's done before: Buffy, Angel, Dollhouse, which is my personal favorite, and you know,
Firefly, all of that.
Right, but like none of the Agents doesn't feel like anything I've ever seen Joss Whedon do before, and it doesn't feel like. It doesn't feel like it has his. I mean, some of the snarkiness between, you know, the characters, they do feel like some Joss Whedon-esque characters. But I actually was hoping that he brought some of the people from from Dollhouse over to Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah, some of the actors. Yeah.
And it definitely would have felt more Joss Whedon-like. But anyway. He's another person who really loves, which is ironic that we were talking about, you know, female characters. He's another person that really loves writing strong female characters. Like, all of his shows are around strong female characters. And that's the one thing that you can say about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. The main character, so to speak, is Skye. And she definitely feels like a Joss Whedon, you know, driven type of character. So I'll give him that. So I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. What were you going to say?
But, you know, in regards to what you were saying about the whole not feeling like Josh Whedon, I mean, it's no longer, like, let's be honest a little bit here, like, it's not really a Josh Whedon show, it's a Disney show, and he has to play within their parameters. You know, and that all of his shows have not been within the network's parameters. That's why they have been good. You know. So, but back to what I was saying. My recommendation. You know, it's an oldie, you know, but I just read it, and so maybe some other people haven't read it, and maybe some people don't even know it exists. You know, comic book, Astonishing X-Men, number 1 to 24. Written by Josh Whedon, is completely excellent. Now, you can go read it, or you can hop on Netflix and watch, like, the digital comic thing. I think it's called a digital comic. And it has 1 through 24, same story. And it's just great. It's an excellent read. It's really short. You could probably finish it in, like, you could do it in days or you could do it in hours. It depends on whatever it is you want to do. But, like, I give that thing 5 stars. It's completely excellent. The artwork is good. It's by, I can't think of his first name. His last name is Cassidy. But the artwork's good. Overall, it's a really good presentation. And the story, I mean, the way he takes the X-Men characters and Josh Whedon's them is awesome, you know? So that's my recommendation. Astonishing X-Men, 1 to 24.
Okay. My recommendation today is going to be another anime or / manga recommendation. It's called Kuroko no Basket. And for people who aren't into sports anime, like, it's definitely a genre unto itself. But it's really interesting though too. I really love how sports anime feels like I'm watching battle anime, but in a different way. So a lot of times, though, I will say that the Japanese culture doesn't really get American sports. Like Slam Dunk was like the most popular basketball anime for, you know, Japan, and it doesn't really grasp the concept of basketball sometimes. So, you know, in some regards. But Kuroko no Basket really feels like it gets basketball even to the street level, and which is pretty cool. So I definitely recommend Kuroko no Basket. It's in its second season. I'm watching it on Crunchyroll right now. And once I get done, I'm probably going to start reading the manga and picking that up too, because I really enjoy this anime. So, give it a shot, and, I'm sure you'll like it. And if not, let me know. Join the group. Tell me, hey, I didn't like that. It wasn't that good, or whatever.
Hey.
So,
or leave a comment down at the bottom in the box. Hit us up with some comments.
all right, so, last week I promised you guys I was going to do a pick battle. I forgot to add that on, so I just want to tell you guys that we do pick battles Monday through Friday in the group, and we're always debating about what the pick battles, who's going to win in the pick battle and everything. So today I wanted to leave you guys with the possible pick battle for tomorrow. Tomorrow's pick battle is going to be a very interesting one. It is going to be the Battle of the Marvels. It is going to be Captain Marvel from DC versus Captain Marvel from Marvel. So I like to pit these two against each other and see who deserves that title of Captain Marvel. So if you'd like to join in the debate below, you can go ahead and comment. If you want to just do the debate in the group, you can join us in the Facebook group, and I'll put a link to that below. So, having said that, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. Again, you can reach me on Twitter at Paulthewysguy. You can join the Facebook group, S.C.A.M Artists. Please like our Facebook page, S.C.A.M Artists Facebook page, and there's links to all that down below. Stardager.
And as always, same speech. Hit me up at Stardager, S.C.A.M on Twitter. Let's get into some healthy conversations. Let's build something here,
Right on. Until next time, people. We'll see you again.